This lecture is on ratio and proportions, and we do this as a review from algebra. We do it because we're getting into similarity of polygons and triangles, and as we'll see soon, similarity, one of the key things about it is same shape, and if you're going to have the same shape, then corresponding lengths of things have to be proportional. And so all our similar figures are proportional, so we're going to practice solving proportions before we get back into the pure geometry of it. So for this particular problem, and we'll just do some examples with some proportions. Washington Monument's 556 feet tall, three-dimensional puzzle is 24 inches, which, just to keep it clear, is 2 feet. We want to be in the same units, that's important. And so what's the ratio of the height of the puzzle to the real monument? Well, the puzzle's 2 feet, real monument's 556 feet. We don't really care about feet anymore, we can kind of divide that off. And then 2 to 156, we can reduce that to 1 to, let's see, 278. So this would be your ratio, which if you wanted to, write it as a fraction if you please. These will skip. Okay, for these problems here, we're given that x over y is equal to 5 over 8. We want to decide if these are true or not. So we want to see if, given this equation, is this true? Well, one thing you can do with proportions is you can cross multiply them. So if we cross multiply, we would have 8 times x equals 5 times y. Well, that's just what I have here. So that's going to be true. For number 8, 5x times 8y, well, no, it's 8x times 5y, so that's false. Over here, let's cross multiply again. I get 8x is equal to 5y. Well, that's what I had up top when I cross multiplied, so that's true. Over here, I get 5x equals 8y, so once again, that's false. I can reduce this, 10 over 16, I can reduce it to 5 over 8 by dividing 2 from top and bottom. I've got x over y equals 5 over 8, which in fact is what I started with, so that of course is true. For this one, let's see. One of the things you can do with the proportion with an equal sign is you can cancel either vertically, like I did here, or you can cancel horizontally. So I'm going to divide off this 2, and that makes this a 2. So now I've got x over y equals 5 over 2, not 5 over 8, so that's false. We've got a few more over here. If I cross multiply here, I get 5y is equal to 8x, and that was actually true from my original cross multiplication, so that's true. This one is, these two are a little tricky. What I can do is rewrite the left side as x over y plus y over y. But y over y is the same thing as 1. So I have this. So now what I do is I say, okay, well that's equal to 13 over 8. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and so these cancel, and I get x over y is equal to 13 over 8 minus 8 over 8, because that's the same thing as 1, which gives me 5 over 8, and x over y equals 5 over 8. Well, that's exactly what I started with, so that one is true. So this is going to be true right here. And finally, this one, I would start by flipping it over. So I've got x minus y over x equals 3 over 5. You can't divide it as it is there with the denominator split, but now it's not split, so this becomes 1 minus y over x equals 3/5. Y over x is 8 over 5. We had that from before. So 1 minus 8 over 5 is equal to 3/5. Well, it's actually negative 3/5, so that's going to be false. So a few more problems down here, just solving proportions. Let me be clear, you can always cross multiply if you want. You can always cross multiply, but it's easier if you cancel things first to keep the numbers smaller. So I could do 3x is equal to 4 times 9, 36, but it's easier to cancel this, I think. You get 3 divided by 1. Then when you cross multiply, you have 1 times x, which is x, 3 times 4, which is 12. You get the same thing cross multiplying, but you'd have to do more reducing. For this one, again, I'm going to cancel horizontally, so I get a 1 here, I get a 2 there. Now when I cross multiply, x times 1 is x, 6 times 2 is 12. Over here, there's no canceling I can do. So I get 5x equals 21, and I'll divide both sides by 5, so it's 21 over 5. For this one, you cannot cancel diagonally unless there's a multiplication. This is an equal, so we can't do any canceling. We're going to get x times x is x squared is 2 times 32, which is 64. And so therefore, x is plus or minus 8. When you take a square, you get plus or minus. Over here I cross multiply and I'll get 4 times x is equal to 3 times x plus 2. So that's 4x equals 3x plus 6. If I subtract 3x from both sides, I get x is equal to 6. This last one over here, 7 times x equals 5 times x plus 1. 7x equals 5x plus 5. Subtract 5x from both sides, 2x is equal to 5, so x is 5 halves. And these we'll skip. Okay, a few more problems over here. You want to find the ratio of the longer side to the shorter side. So longer to shorter, so that's simply 70 to 25, but I've got to reduce it, so I divide by 5, and I get 14 to 5, and you can't reduce this anymore. Again, longer side to shorter side, so 18 to 12, which reduces. Divide by 6 to 3 to 2, or 3 over 2 if you prefer. You need to have the same units. 3 feet is the same as 36 inches. You've got to multiply by 12, so 36 over 21, or 36 to 21 in this form. But then that ends up becoming, divide by 3, you get 12 to 7, 12 over 7. A few more problems. If 3x is equal to 8y, then x over y. Well, what I can do, if I want to get x over y, I'll divide both sides by y. And I want to also get the 3 out of there, so I'll divide both sides by 3. So the 3's cancel, the y's cancel, and I'm left with x over y equals 8 thirds. So the answer is 8 over 3. And then over here, a over 7 equals b over 13. Well, you can sort of do it horizontally. Say, okay, a over b equals 7 over 13. So instead of going vertically, you sort of go horizontally. And that's it.